I want to quickly talk to you about Greenbox Capital. And if you're looking for a business loan this year, you might want to give Greenbox Capital a try. Now, the thing is that Greenbox Capital is pretty different in the space when it comes to business lending. Okay, so let me first talk to you about Greenbox Capital. What is it really? So, if you think about Greenbox Capital, think about an alternative lender. So, it's not your direct banking lender or your credit union. It is an alternative lender that specializes in fast and easy access to working capital for small businesses. So you are looking at a very short-term sort of business loan. Okay, so working capital, you're looking at 1 year, 2 years, but maximum 3 years. Okay, and what I love about the Greenbox Capital is that they're really fast. They offer you a variety of business loans, and you also can actually be funded no matter your credit score, no matter your personal credit score. Okay, and as a matter of fact, there is no minimum credit score requirement to apply. So they'll take everybody, even if you have no credit. So if you have a credit score of 300 or you have no credit, Greenbox Capital will consider your application. Okay, so that's really good. In other words, everybody has a chance. Okay, and on top of that, they have a quick turnaround on applications, and they can fund loans within 24 hours of approval. So you are speaking about a very fast turnaround, 24 hours. So let's just say 24 to 48 hours from application to fund release. Okay, so you can be funded within 2 days, actually. Okay. Now, the maximum loan amount you can have through Greenbox Capital is half a million. So that's $500,000, depending on the product. So this is really good. And one thing I want to say here is that Greenbox Capital, the only problem is the company's rates are very high. I mean, first of all, if you think about an alternative lender, the APR is already high. On top of that, the fact that they allow you to apply no matter what your credit score is, that really tells you that their risk model is pretty flexible, which means their APR are going to be high too. But the company is open to everybody, all 50 states, and they are based actually in Florida. So let me talk about the types of business loans that Greenbox Capital offers. Okay, I've told you before that they have a variety of business loans, from merchant cash advances to invoice factoring to business lines of credit to short-term loans to collateral business loans. So as you can see, they do not offer long-term business loans. Okay, as a matter of fact, their funding actually is about 12 months or lower, sometimes 15 months, but maximum is 2 years. Okay, so I said a little earlier 3 years, but no, 2 years. So let me first talk about merchant cash advances. Merchant cash advances, you have loan amounts from 3,000 all the way to half a million. Rate factors like factor rates rather, actually range from 1.1 to 1.5. So that's about 10% to 50% on the spot. And you can be funded within 24 hours. So this is really good. And Greenbox Capital actually wants you to have about, like, what they want to do is they can actually fund 70% to 120% of the previous 3 months of credit and debit card sales. And you can select fixed or flexible payment schedules. So this is really good in terms of funding. So you are looking at an MCA. Besides an MCA, you also have invoice factoring. Invoice factoring, they will fund you up to $100,000. And the rates are 1% to 5% of the invoice value every 30 days unpaid. And funding time actually happens within 24 hours. You also have business lines of credit through Greenbox Capital. They will give you anywhere from 3,000 to half a million, and basically, and you can be funded within 24 hours. You also have short-term loans, short-term business loans, no long-term business loans, short-term business loans. Basically, here you have again 3,000 to half a million, and you can be funded within 24 hours. And finally, you have collateral business loans. And collateral business loans actually they will fund between $50,000 to $250,000, And but the funding time for collateral business loans takes longer because they have to verify, they have to validate the collateral, all that kind of stuff takes time. Okay, so but they will take collateral such as commercial real estate or your machinery, your company's machinery. Like it has to be a hard assets. It has to be a tangible assets. Okay, so and they're pretty particular when it comes to the type of collateral they have to accept. So be just be aware on that front. So if you think about Greenbox Capital, what are the qualifications you need to have this year if you want to really if you want to do business with this company? First of all, I think I've said this before, but I'll say this again. There is no requirement for a FICO score. So no matter what you have as FICO score, you can still be qualified. Okay, that's really good. And also, what I want to say here is that you get your business got to be in operation for at least 6 months before applying to Green Boss Capital. Meaning what? Meaning that if you are a startup, if you are a brand new company, you're not going to be funded through Green Boss Capital. Okay, so this is just what it is, and you also need to make sure that you have an average monthly revenue of about $5,000 to $10,000. So you have to generate some type of revenue. Otherwise, again, they're not going to qualify you. Okay. Now, Greenbox Capital actually will cover all types of industries, all types of economic sectors. However, there are a few niches that they do not want to do business in, such as banks, credit unions, and mortgage lenders, non-bank finance companies, money services businesses, bail bonding services, factoring and purchase order financing, financial transaction processing, credit protection, restoration and repair, collection agencies and debt buyers, debt, debt and tax reduction services, securities and commodities dealers and brokers, real estate brokers or agencies, appraisers and real estate consultants, lessors of estate and real estate investors or flippers. So you can see that they're trying to really stay away from certain industries, okay? They also do not do business with call centers and answering services businesses, mailing and fulfillment houses, title companies and escrow agencies, churches, okay, notaries, brokerages, but also online auction services. So, I mean, this list, of course, is not exhaustive, so it's always a good idea to contact the company before actually applying. So, how do you apply to Greenbox Capital this year? Let's have a conversation about that. The first thing you want to do is you want to go to the company's website. Okay, so they have a pretty user-friendly website, and you can. It takes about two to 3 minutes to actually apply. So 2 to 3 minutes, and you're all set. Okay, so you just need to provide some type of like you need to provide basic information about the company itself. So the company yourself, but also don't forget to upload your business bank statements for the previous 3 months. So they want to see your business bank statements for the previous quarter, and they will look at all transactions. Okay, they do not accept personal bank statements. It has to be a business bank statements. Okay, if you are a sole proprietorship, you're not going to qualify. They're not going to accept it. It has to be a business bank account, and so you can also provide secure access to your bank account's transactional data for faster approval. Actually, the company sometimes use a service called Plod, and Plod will actually verify your transactional data, your business bank account's transactional data, even faster. Okay, but you have to give authorization to Plod to actually do this on behalf of Greenbox Capital. So that's the first part. You need to go to the company's website and apply. Now, they do not have a pre-qualification process, no. So when you apply, it is a hard pull right away. So there's no soft pull, like soft pull first and then hard pull. No, they just do, they will do a hard pull right away. So once you actually apply, you need to now choose funding. So basically, Greenbox Capital will contact you. Once you provide all the info that they want, they will contact you. So somebody from Greenbox Capital will contact you. They'll ask more questions like about your business, the use of loan proceeds, how fast you want to be funded, and they can also ask you a few things about your like your let's just say other paperwork like regulatory compliance, like licenses and all that kind of stuff, and then you get funded. So once you pass that second step, you'll be funded real fast. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of Greenbox Capital this year? I want to first talk to you about the advantages of Greenbox Capital. First of all, one thing you will love is that you have a fast turnaround on approval and funding. I think I've said this before, but this is important. The turnaround, the business model actually is based on 24 to 48 hours from the time you apply to the time you get funded, which is really good. If you are looking for funding real fast, then Greenbox Capital can be a very good lender to actually apply to. On top of that, you get a dedicated funding agent to help you to help guide you through the process. Okay, so you're able to know exactly that if you make a choice, this is the right choice for your specific situation, for your specific industry, and for the specific activities you want to actually undertake with the loan. Okay. Also, you have a large variety of loans to actually choose from. This is really good because it just means that, like from merchant cash advances to invoice factoring to business lines of credit to short-term loans to collateral business loans, there will be something for you. There will be something for your specific situation. Okay. You also have actually lower borrowing qualifications. So in terms of FICO score, but also in terms of the number of months you got to be in business. Like if you think about it, most banks, most credit unions, most online banks, sometimes they will ask you for 2 years in business, like 2 years in activity, and actually also have a high FICO score, right? Now, Greenbox Capital is not really asking you anything about that. Okay, so this is really cool. So those are the advantages of Greenbox Capital. What are the disadvantages? Well, the thing is that with Greenbox Capital, you have to pay them often, right? Sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, and this could be disruptive to your cash flow. You also have the fact that the APR can be really high on some of their loans. So this is important. And also, there is no transparency in terms of the rates, terms, the fees, the conditions, anything. So you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. So this could be a little troubling. So what are the pros and cons here? If you think about Greenbox Capital, what are the pros and what are the cons you have to really you have to consider? Let me first talk about the pros. The thing is, the pros is that you have a quick and easy online application. Like I said, it takes you 2 to 3 minutes to apply online. Okay, even though there is no soft pull, right? Just be aware of that. There is no soft pull. There's no rate check feature. So you also have a fast turnaround on approval and funding. And but sometimes the fast turnaround on approval and funding is actually depending on your ability to provide all the paperwork they'll be asking for. So if you don't provide the paperwork on time, they're not going to fund you fast. Okay. Also, you also have an option for collateral loans. Like I showed you before, you have collateral business loans. So if for any reason you want to pledge collateral so that you can get a loan at a lower APR or with better terms and conditions, then just you have the possibility to actually avail yourself of what the company is offering. You also have lower borrower qualifications, including no minimum credit score. So that's actually a short list of all the pros that relate to Greenbox Capital business funding. What about the cons? Well, you do have to understand that transparency is not there. You're not getting transparency because no information on fees, on cost, on APR is actually valid. Is actually present on the website. Okay, and Greenbox Capital actually wants you to really pay them as often as possible, daily, monthly, weekly. You also have the fact that they have high interest rates. So, you can have like even triple digits interest rates. And finally, Greenbox Capital only offers short-term financing. So if you want something long-term, you're not going to get that through Greenbox Capital. So big question is, should you trust Greenbox Capital this year? The answer is yes. The answer is definitely yes. This is a legit company. Okay, they have been around since 2014, so tells you a lot so far in terms of their legitimacy. Okay, they're based in Florida. I think I've said this before. So this is a legitimate online lender that you can trust. Okay, and they are actually registered on a triple B. They're registered on Capterra. They are registered on a series of website. Okay, so yeah, Trustpilot also. Sorry about that. So what I want to say here is that when you think about the Greenbox Capital, you need to understand that they actually can fund you real fast, but just be ready to pay a larger APR, like a higher APR. Okay, and also what you want to do is that the best way to proceed is to contact their Miami Gardens, Florida location during regular business hours from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and ask all questions. Ask all questions, okay? And from there you can see whether or not you should be doing business with them. But just remember that you have to be in operations for at least 6 months before applying, and you also need to make $7,500 minimum before actually reaching out to them. Okay, but long story short, is this company worth it? Definitely worth it. They've been around for a while, and they do have experience. They can definitely help you. They can get you funded real fast. So this is something to really think about. In conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about Greenbox Capital, and I spoke about what the company is, what loans do they offer, what are the qualifications, what are the pros and cons, how do you apply. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.